All right, this week we're in New York City for work, so I decided to make a short video for you about advertising. What can I teach you in the next few minutes that's going to help you get more value for your money when you're spending money on Meta ads or Google ads or whatever the heck it is you're doing? So based on my 20 years experience as a marketing consultant, what have I learned? What should you know? Where better place to start then than the advertising hellscape that is Times Square? There is something to be learned from the brands that are here. As you can imagine, they're some of the biggest brands in the world. And what we can learn from them is the idea of consistency. Brands like Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Gap, you name it, they're consistently present in the market. They don't just do a bit of advertising and then completely disappear. They try and always be doing some sort of promotional activity, and also they're consistent with their messaging. They don't change their advertising strap lines every year, every season. They have consistent messages, and this helps us, over time, cement what our brand means in the minds of the consumer. So that means when that consumer's next in the marketplace of buying a product like we're selling, they understand who we are, what we're about, and why they should turn to us. Madison Avenue is arguably home to some of the greatest advertising companies in the world, and the secret to their success is not just the imagination of the creatives that work here, but it's also their commitment to testing. See, testing's always been at the heart of effective advertising. Long before digital advertising was a thing, we used to test TV spot ads, radio ads, ads that appeared in newspapers, ads that appeared outdoor on bus stops and billboards. Because at the end of the day, we've always wanted to make advertising dollars work as hard as possible. And the beauty for you is that now, today, with digital advertising, testing is easier than ever. Thanks to companies like Google and Meta, you can A/B test every element of your campaign. So take advantage of the tools they give you. Test your messaging, test the visual creative, test the offers, test every element of your advertising so that you can make your dollars go further. So look at this sandwich board here. This is a great example of simplicity. Simplicity beats out creativity every single time. In a world where every consumer is exposed to thousands of advertising messages in a given day, be simple with what you're telling them. This is a great example of focusing on product outcomes, on benefits, rather than focusing on features. If you do this in your advertising is going to be a lot more powerful than if you just yap on about the different features that your product has. Don't get me wrong, there is a time and a place for telling the consumer about the features and the technical details of what your product does and what it is and what's inside of it and all that stuff. But it's not front and center in your advertising campaign. So focus on outcomes and what your product is going to do for your consumer, rather than the technical details of your product. All right, so I think another really important advertising lesson is something that we can learn from the sports mega brands, companies like Nike and Advertise, basically, because they're particularly good at doing this. And that's the idea of making the customer the hero of the story. When you've got a brand, it's quite easy to become a bit vain and to see that your brand, or to think that your brand is the center of the universe and everyone revolves around your brand. But actually, you'll find that your advertising message resonates on a much deeper level if you think of your brand as just a part of your customer's story. So the customer is the hero, and your brand fits into your customer's life and enables them to overcome an obstacle or achieve their dreams or whatever it is that their customer's trying to do, basically. So yeah, that's the outtake here, or the takeout rather, which is to see that to think that the customer is the hero of the story. All right, this is the final stop in our New York City advertising safari, and I can tell you I've had enough. My bastard legs feel like they're about to fall off. Anyway, this final lesson might well be the most important for any entrepreneur who really wants to get into advertising, and that is the idea of offering your consumers value and also incentivizing action. At the end of the day, we're not Nike or Coca-Cola or Gap or whoever. We don't have millions of dollars to waste on advertising, to waste on airy-fairy outcomes like raising awareness or brand building or things like that. We really want to focus on creating action as a result of our advertising. So think about that, remember that, which is not to say that, everything that's measurable is good and everything that's good is measurable, but still, if you can focus on creating action and having a measurable outcome, that's a good thing, and you want to be focused on that as a small business owner embarking on advertising. Right, that's it. That wraps up our advertising safari. Hope you've learned a bit from this, and I hope it means next time you go spending money on Meta or Google that you actually get a bit more bang for your buck. Right, enough of this. I think I'm going to have a donut.